Okay, we've got our server 2003 here. This is a brand new server 2003. It has a few things installed on it. Just the Microsoft updates, and I think it's SP2. So we've got .NET Framework 2.0 installed and Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 2. Really, those just came from the Microsoft updates. You can get them right off the Microsoft update site. So make sure you've got those before you start. Okay, here we go. I am going to plug in my Windows 2003 disk, and I'm going to start by adding or removing a role. On XP, it's a little bit different. If you're doing this on XP, you go to Start, you go to Control Panel, Add or Remove Programs, where we just were, and you want to click on this link right here. Add or Remove Program Windows Components. And then it'll come up with a list of items to check. Check IIS or Internet Information Services, and then click Install if you're doing this on XP. Windows 2003, we're going to click here and do it from here. Okay, just click Next on the preliminary steps. It's going to do some searches here. Sometimes you get errors or warning messages that say you don't have all of the LAN drivers installed or all of the LANs connected. Just say OK and continue past those. Click on Application Server, go Next. Here we want to enable ASP.NET. We don't care about front page server extensions. Click Next. And it's going to go. While this is going, I'm going to pause the video. This would be a perfect time for you if you're following along doing this. It's a perfect time to do what I just did and then come back. So I'm going to pause this now. We're going to do a light speed jump ahead. Okay, you should be where I am now if you're following along. If not, that's okay. Click Finish, and we have ourselves, right here you can see we have ourselves an application server. Woohoo! We're excited. I'm going to start this pen application so I can zoom in and you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is what my cool pen application does. Woo! Okay, we have an application server. We're happy. Let's go in and configure it. To configure it, it's the same on XP as it is in Windows 2003. Go to Administrative Tools and go to Internet Information Services Manager. What we're going to see here is a few things. What I'd first like to talk about is I'm going to go from the top down. Let's talk about application pools. What is an application pool? An application pool is an isolated process that you can set up to run your website in, or web service in our case. So if we want to isolate CEDC or Subscriber Portal to run as its own process, we want to create a new application pool for it. Let me demonstrate what it does. It's actually pretty cool. I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go over to our training server. And I've kind of got this set up already. If you look here, this is the processor, W3WPEXE. This is the process that all of these websites that are running on over here. They're all running on, well, let me slow down. I've opened up Internet Information Services on our training server, which has a ton of websites, tons of activity going on. And I'm using this to demonstrate what an application pool is. This default app pool runs under a Windows executable called W3WP.exe. And so what I'm going to do is show you that I can create a new app pool. I'll just use this existing one here, this USMC. I'm going to go down to our CARES server in SP, the virtual directory. I'm going to right click and go to Properties and change the application pool to use the USMC application pool. What this is going to do, as soon as that application starts, as soon as we start this website, we'll see a new W3WP show up. So I'm going to apply and say OK. So right now we have one. I'm going to pull this over from my computer. This is going to CARES uniqueglobal.net. As you can see, I'll zoom in up here because I got a cool little zoom tool too. So you can see that it's going here to cares.uniqueglobal.net, subscriber portal, and I'm going to refresh this page. My session was lost, so I end up back here at the DoD warning message, continue, and we'll see now over here that I have another W3WPEXE. So it isolates these applications on the server to better use resources and everything. Anyways, let's go back. Let's go back to our example here. We're going to create a new application pool. You want to do this every time for various reasons. It isolates our CEDC and our subscriber portal, and also allows us to do Windows authentication from the application server to the SQL server. So we'll call this cares app pool, and we're going to use default settings and say OK, and there you go, we have it. Later on we'll go into the properties, what these are, what they mean. We're specifically going to focus on the identity tab. Right now we'll leave it alone. Okay, let's see here. We have covered, oops, sorry about that. We've covered our prerequisites. Nope, sorry, we've installed it. We're starting to configure it. We talked about application pools, what it is and how they work. We talked a little bit about identity. We're going to come back to that when we install it. Now we need to install ASP.NET. Make sure it's enabled. I don't think it's enabled now, but let's go check. It's not enabled. You can see here that we have ASP.NET version 1.1 allowed. I went over here in Internet Information Services and clicked on Web Service Extensions in order to see this screen. We want to see ASP.NET version 2.0 on here. Here's how we're going to do it. Run your command prompt and go to the Windows folder, Microsoft.NET, move to the framework folder, move to the version 2 folder, and run ASP.NET _reg IIS --I. This is going to install IIS for us. I'll pause the video, lightning speed. Here we go. Okay, it's finished. I'm going to go back to my IIS manager, and I'm going to click on this refresh button right here, and we'll see that ASP.NET version 2.0 is allowed. Great, we're good to go. Now we're done. We're done installing IIS.